Courage is hugely impacted by what you expect. If you believe that something is scary but possible, you're much more likely to be courageous about it. So how do you raise your expectations? I think you start by being really mindful about what you're focused on, whether you lean towards a positive or a negative outlook on life, how you challenge your perspectives and habits when they're not helpful to you. Raising your expectations will help you to be more courageous. It will help you to believe in yourself, and it will help you to focus on what will get you the results that you want. Have you stopped to think, though, about what you actually do expect of yourself? If you're not sure, pause this video for a few moments and do this first. Be honest. If you expect good things, great. But if your expectations are undermining you a little, then you need to know. Any shocks or surprises? How do you feel about what you expect? Raising your expectations is much easier when you're able to see the good in a situation, rather than when you're focused on the what ifs, the what can go wrong, what if I can't do this, what if people laugh at me, and so on and so on. Seeing the good in the situation takes practice for most people, and it often takes a change of focus too. But it's really worth the effort, because this is the thing that helps you to build resilience, to cope better when things don't go to plan, and to feel more confident in your own ability to handle whatever life throws at you. I think there are two broad areas that impact your expectations: your ability to let go and your propensity towards optimism. First, let's consider letting go. We all have stuff we make too big a deal out of from time to time. Fights we hold on to, reactions from others we overanalyze, failures we dwell on, and that's quite okay. It's only human to do this from time to time. It's when it becomes your chosen place of residence that you've got a real problem. Worry, blame and mistakes have only one purpose, and that's to teach us what we need to learn, and that's it. You will not get comfort, closure or contentment for staying there in the long term. So just think for a moment. Are you a habitual worrier? Do you have a pessimistic predisposition? Or can you create a potential calamity out of almost every situation, even without moving off your seat? This is the way your brain's actually wired. It represents the neural pathways that you've habitually repeated and therefore created as your default position. Apart from possibly making you a bit glum, this in itself is not a problem. The real problem is that your brain's focused on finding things to prove you right. And if that means looking for a bad situation, you're going to constantly reinforce that, and that will have an impact on your confidence and self-esteem. At a deep level, the reptilian part of your brain is striving to keep you safe, out of harm's way, and it focuses on what will keep you alive. This part of your brain function is almost entirely about repetition, being aware of anything out of the ordinary, and this happens at an unconscious level. You're very often not even aware that you're responding in a predetermined way. You're not even aware that specific stimuli will create a specific reaction. This deep unconscious brain activity is another reason that patterns of behaviours and responses become so entrenched. The only way to change them is to bring them into your conscious focus. Worry, blame and beating yourself up for mistakes is your choice, and it's a really bad choice. It will consistently undermine your confidence and probably your self-esteem too. So be honest with yourself. Do you worry yourself into paralysis, and is this affecting your success? I often work with clients who've got caught in this trap. So instead of worrying about everything, they choose to settle for what they know they can achieve. They maintain a level of success that they've already got and make excuses for everything else. Now, by the time I meet them, their belief in themselves is beginning to wane, along with their resilience and flexibility. You see, it may be easier to just settle for what you know that you can do. This way you're not going to be disappointed, and it's not your fault, and nobody could have expected anything different from you, could they? Wrong. Actually, it's not easy to settle. It is your fault, and you're going to constantly feel disappointed, frustrated and cross with yourself. Vicious circle or what? So how can we break this cycle? First of all, worry. It's quite right to appraise a situation from all angles, look at the good, look at the bad, look at the outcomes and the personal effort required to achieve something. Whether you've got the resources, the time, the money, the skill, whether you're going to get a positive outcome. But then you need to make a decision and critically act. Taking action that supports your decision then becomes your focus, and action will always trump fear. Once your decision's made, don't allow yourself to dwell on it up here. Don't think about what might go wrong. Don't talk yourself out of action. Just check your self-talk and get on with it. This will be a very conscious process to start with, actively dismissing unhelpful thoughts, reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. And then gradually your brain will start to recognise this pattern and the dismissing will happen more quickly until eventually it becomes your new default or your habit. Blame. It's easy to blame others for your situation or for your inaction or even for settling for what you have. And of course there are times in your life when maintaining the status quo may be necessary or even desirable, but it's not a life plan. Blaming external people or circumstances for your situation is quite literally giving your power away. It's relinquishing any control you have over your circumstances, and it's usually a big fat excuse for something you just find too scary to face. Take a look at what you can control, what's in your gift to change, and then get on with it. Don't wait for permission from other people. Mistakes. Every successful person that I've modelled has made more than their fair share of mistakes, myself included. The difference is they learn from the mistakes and they move on. Dwelling on mistakes just keeps you stuck. It undermines your belief in yourself and it undermines your ability to get things done, diminishing your confidence. If you're in your stretch zone, which you should be if you're actively following your dream, expect to make mistakes. It's part of your journey. If you never get anything wrong, the chances are you're playing too small a game. The trick is to learn what you need to learn, to remedy your course of action if you need to, and then let the mistake go and get on with it. Now let's consider optimism. Talking about optimism or positivity can evoke really mixed reactions from people. So let's just be clear here. I'm not talking about happy clappy hype. I'm talking about giving yourself the best possible chance to succeed. Being an optimist doesn't mean that you're out of touch with reality. It doesn't mean that you ignore difficulties or obstacles, and it doesn't mean behaving in a naive way. It means that you hope and expect things to turn out well. Optimism is not a permanent state. It would be unrealistic to believe that you never feel disillusioned or pessimistic about anything. Just don't reside there. Balance is important when taking an optimistic approach. I'm not suggesting you become completely over the top positive or that you set totally unrealistic goals for yourself. This leaves you exposed, blinded to potential harm, and at risk of undermining your confidence through avoidable failure. My mantra: show up, be your best, and expect to succeed. And have a B plan just in case the worst should occur. This is not a coincidence, nor can it entirely be put down to brain activity or thinking patterns. Optimistic people work harder, they persist longer at whatever it is they're trying to achieve, whether that is work, play, or health related. They report having more energy, more luck, and more success. Now, who wouldn't want a bit of that? Here are some of the behaviours that optimistic or positive thinking people adopt. And you can do this whatever your natural style, whatever you think your personality type is. Number 1, find the good in situations and people, not because you're a nice person, but because it changes how you feel. Focusing on good things tells your reticular activating system to look for more good things, and you'll quickly start seeing potential and opportunities that you previously missed. You'll also have more confidence in your ability to go and grab that opportunity and do something with it. Number 2, talk about successes instead of talking about what went wrong or failures. And apply this to your own and other people's activities. This changes your state. It changes your focus away from worry towards positive outcomes. Now, you don't have to be big-headed or conceited about success, but you do have to get into the habit of talking about it, about raising your expectations and getting comfortable with this concept. This enables others to buy into your vision, into your success, and into their own. Number 3, check the negativity around you, both yours and that of other people. You can directly address the things that you tell yourself, and you can use the strategies in this video to monitor and change your own negative self-talk. But you also need to be mindful of what you surround yourself with. Other negative people can be incredibly draining and they undermine your confidence. You can't always avoid them though, can you? Especially if they're people close to you. But you do need strategies to mitigate the effect they have on you. Number 4, avoid the comparison trap. It can be really easy to become jealous of others' successes, of their material trappings or their relationships. Take stock of your own attitudes and resist the temptation to compare yourself. Whether you feel better or worse than the other person, the chances are the process is going to leave you feeling undermined and not good about yourself. Instead, focus on your own good qualities, what you like about yourself, what you're really proud of, and use these to combat your own negative self-talk when it crops up. Number 5, take control. Focus your effort and energy on the things that you can do something about. If you've no influence or control over a situation, dwelling on it is a complete waste of time. By putting your efforts where they make a difference, you significantly increase your chance of success and subsequently your level of confidence. Number 6, look after yourself. Frequently said I know, but positive, confident people take care of themselves. This means doing things that build up your confidence, playing as well as working, enjoying activities and hobbies that you're good at, things that you're passionate about, and allowing yourself time for activities that just lift your spirits. It also means eating well, staying hydrated, and getting enough exercise and sleep, by the way. Changing your thought patterns and habitual behaviours takes effort and focus, and you'll feel pessimistic or uncertain some of the time. The way to succeed is to keep moving forward, to know what builds you up, to know what makes you feel optimistic, and make sure that you include this in your life every single day. Optimism increases the likelihood of success because you expect to succeed. Your focus is on success, your energy goes towards activity that brings success. Raising expectations is my default, and I usually find that people live up to and surpass those expectations. But the same is also true when you set expectations too low. People will live down to them. Here's a quick example. Last year we ran the first ever Brave Fest. I had really high expectations for the weekend and we surpassed them.
That was a Saturday weekend.
Was there?
Yeah.
I think that's actually going faster than it was before, I have to tell you. But I think just persevere with it. I think the thing has got a life of its own.
Okay.
It's probably overheated as well, isn't it really?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a quick example. Last year we ran the first ever Brave Fest. Now I had really high expectations for the weekend and we surpassed them. So this year when planning our September event, the team asked, how do we top that? And the answer for us is simple. We look at what can we do even better. And no surprise, we found a few things. So this year, we're keeping Brave Fest really intimate. We're mixing working on yourself with working on your business. We've got some fabulous speakers coming, as well as some great outdoor activities. If you want to know more, go have a look at bravefest.co.uk. The things that you regularly focus on, whether they're your actions or your thoughts, will either build or reduce your courage and subsequently your confidence to act. So expect more of yourself and you will get more for yourself.